Hello and welcome. This is Jerome Shaw, host of the Open Palm Podcast, motivator, meditator, coming at you with a message from this book on meditation, aspects of meditation by Osho. And, as I was reading through this book, there were passages with pertinent messages for today that changed my perspective in a unique way. So one of them is this one right here that talks about the mind. It says, slowly in America, we find the number of physicians is becoming fewer and psychoanalysts are increasing. You have no idea how very delicate, very fragile, and very subtle a thing the brain is. The human brain is the most delicate machine in the world. So much stress is being imposed on this machine that it is a wonder that it does not break down completely and become mad. The whole burden of life is on the brain, and we have no idea how delicate a thing it is. We have hardly any idea of how fine and delicate are the nerves in the head, which have to carry all the burden, all the anxiety, all the suffering, all the knowledge, all the education, and the whole weight of life. You may perhaps not know that in this small head, there are about 70 million nerves. Just by their number, you can tell how tiny they are. There is no machine or plant more delicate than this. The fact that there are 70 million nerves in the small head of a human being shows how delicate it is. It is like there are so many nerves in one man's head that if they were spread out one after the other, they would encircle the whole earth. It's amazing. So reading this passage, it reminded me, the other day I was walking by a grocery store and I was going to grab some juice and I seen somebody on a sidewalk. And I had to do a double take because I thought it was like deja vu. I was like, haven't I seen him before? I've seen him before. And sure enough, it was a guy that was in the same spot that I had seen before. He had never moved. I had been there other days before and he had stayed right there. And he had a whole bunch of grocery bags around him. Ramen and cups of noodles were spilled out on the grass, and he was just sitting on the grass on the side of the sidewalk in the hot sun. He was just sitting there. And I remember when I got close to him, I could hear somebody yelling, and I realized, oh wow, it's him. And he was yelling out at the top of his lungs, "Get off my property! Get 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 off my property!" He kept yelling it over and over and over again. And I could feel the wave of energy coming from him. I could feel it powerful like a wave. Bouncing, reverberating off of his body, this energy that he was projecting out. He was spitting, just, get off my property. I don't know who he was talking to. There was no one else there. But in that moment, I became more aware of the fragile mind, the fragility of our mental ability, the mental faculties that we have at our disposal that we cannot take for granted. And what can come out when a seed has been planted. Why did he feel the need to shout those words, "Get off my property"? There was no one there. He was on the sidewalk in front of the grocery store, yelling at the top of his lungs. And I thought to myself, what were the series of events that led him to that place? What is the torture and the turmoil? What is the trauma that he cannot erase? What are the things in life this man had to face? And I had to be grateful once again that I feel that my mind is my friend when it could be the other way around. It could be madness that I have found if I wasn't able to be sound with the trials of life. If I was left with stress, with strain, with strife, with everything in my life pressing down on my shoulders, where would my mind be as I grew older? Would it take away warmth? Would I grow even colder to the people around me every day? Would things not be okay? If it weren't for my mind. So I just want to give you this message. We must take the time